And we live. Happy Wednesday and welcome to another Everybody Can't Go Convo. I am your host, Jessi Holley. And today I want to dig. This one gonna be deep. It's gonna be a little bit deep. I might cut you a little bit tonight, but it's all for good reason because I want you to be better. And I'm just giving you like that little disclaimer, that little warning that you might get cut a little bit tonight. Just because as I was making out my outline for the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Some of this stuff it cut me a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, see some areas where I can make some improvements, where I can do better." And so I was like, "Okay, like this is getting good." It turned into a whole journaling session for me, y'all. And so I was like, "All right." If this is turning into a journaling session for me with being able to identify some things where I'll be able to make improvements, I'm like, I really hope this is going to be good for you guys. But it was a couple of times while I was writing, I was like, "Ooh, I ain't like that. It didn't feel good, but that's good." So we'll go ahead and jump straight into it. So I was talking with someone who said that a poor mind leads to poor purpose and poor perception. And I was like, "Ooh." And okay, y'all, you know that sometimes I be a mess. When they said that, I was thinking pour, like pour my wine in my glass. But no, it's pour, POOR. A poor mind and poor thoughts will lead to poor purpose and poor perception. And essentially, the conversation that we had, we talked about how a poor mindset, or when your mindset becomes affected negatively, it leads to poor preparation, and that poor preparation, it has an effect on how you show up in operating in your purpose or not operating in your purpose. So that mindset pours over into not pours over. I promise y'all, I'm not gonna keep doing those jokes this entire episode. I promise I'm not. But it pours over into um your lack of preparation. That lack of preparation has an effect on how you show up, how you are operating or not operating in your purpose, how effective or ineffective you are able to be. And eventually that can lead to having a poor perception of self, of making decisions, of how you operate. And so I was just like, "Oh my goodness," like looking at the domino effect of how your mindset can affect your purpose, which then starts to affect other people, even if you aren't specifically doing something negative to others. Other people are like by proxy, when your mindset starts to affect how you show up in the world, how you do or do not operate in your purpose, and your perception of yourself, your actions, your decisions, all of those things, it has an effect on the people around you or people connected to you, whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not. And that just further leads into whether or not you're going to take responsibility for that. Is that a part of your value system? Like just so many questions. And this conversation, we went on for quite a while. And I was like, okay, let me talk about a few of these different things with you guys. Because the conversation was it was so dynamic. And like I said, it even led me to doing a journaling session with myself, and just starting to have all of these different thoughts and downloads. So, um, I one of the things that I'd written down in my journal was a limited mind will always shrink a limitless purpose. So a limited mind will always shrink a limitless purpose. Elevate your thinking, and your life will follow because it has to. And so When I wrote that out, I was being all philosophical, and I was, even though it didn't rhyme, I was like bars with the pros and all that. Y'all poetry people, y'all get me. But I was like, okay, our purpose is limitless. And I believe that because I'm like, here we're friends with Jesus. So I'm like, okay, if God has a purpose for everyone's life, we're going to have an idea of what that purpose looks like. And so we're like, meh, we have this idea of what the purpose will look like. But then there is God's idea of what our purpose looks like, which we go from here to like it's literally limitless when we're thinking about how minuscule our ideas and how small our our ideas are of what we're supposed to impart upon the world versus the ideas, the potential, and the purpose that God has for us. And so I was like, okay, well, our minds are limited. And if we choose to stay in that limited mindset and not surrender to how wide and how vast of a purpose that God has for us, we're gonna keep ourselves in a bubble. And so I'm like, okay, you have to elevate your thinking. Once you elevate your thinking, your life, it has to follow because you're branching out. You're going to become exposed to more, you're going to explore more, you're going to research more, you're going to learn more, you're going to be open to more. And so there's just no way to gain all this additional information, exposure, applying the information, allowing yourself to grow, being intentional about growing. When you elevate your thinking, there are a multitude of ways that your life will change for the better while you're on your growth journey. And even though it's not always going to feel good, sometimes it will be, oh, sometimes it'll be hell hard. But your life has to follow. When you stick to it and you're consistent, like your life is going to follow just because it literally has to. It has to. It has to. So, um, there is a link between your mental limitations and your life limitations. So, how I talked about once you elevate in your mindset, your life has to follow. And I'm not talking about just listen to a podcast or listen to a motivational speech and you pump for 5 minutes and then you gonna hit the lottery. Like, y'all, I'm all about big dreams. I want you to dream them. But when we're talking about bringing these things to life, bringing these things to fruition, when we're talking about getting tangible results, all of this stuff, it starts with the mindset first. So, um, when you have a poor mindset that's rooted in you're keeping those fears or allowing them to stay alive and keep residence in your mind, in your heart. Things like self-doubt or scarcity mindset. Um, it directly impacts your decisions because it's the way that you think. You're worried about what other people are thinking. You may you struggle with imposter syndrome. You don't want to spend the money because it's like, well, when am I going to get it back? All of those things that are negative feelings that you allow they've already taken residence. Now you're allowing them to just like run amok. And so that's how you start, that's how you operate, that's how you show up in the world. That's what drives your decision making, whether you know it or not. Even if it doesn't drive your decision making, it definitely influences your decision making and is taken into consideration when you're making decisions about moving forward or doing anything in life. And so it has a negative impact on how big you're willing to dream or not. It has an ability, it has an effect on how you plan, how you strategize or not. which ultimately affects how you execute. If you haven't made a plan because you said forget it on having a dream, what are you executing on? Or are you just waking up and existing every day? Think about it. Just take a sec. And sometimes we get lost in the sauce. We get on that hamster wheel and we're just going, we're going. And sometimes we're not even thinking about the dreams that we've let fall to the wayside or that we put on hold or we put it on the shelf but didn't pick it back up. We don't think about strategizing to get to where it is that we want to be in life or where we want to go because we're still on that hamster wheel just going, 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 going. And so again, execute on what plan, build on what strategy, based upon what goals, what dreams. We got to take it all the way back to the beginning and make sure that we're examining our mindset first because that's where all of these things are born from. And every one of these things is connected. So, all of these things end up being connected because we have this internal narrative that it shapes what we believe is possible. And we can shift those narratives to realign with a negative thought pattern or a positive thought pattern. Either way, we're going to have a thought process that is in alignment with one of those two paths. Or, you know what? I'll even say that there's a third path where you could just go straight up the middle. You kind of just neutral in existing. But ultimately, we'd like to be on that positive path towards building on our dream life, setting the goals to hit those milestones so that we can incrementally build that life so that we're able to bring those tangible results into fruition. And we have something to execute on to get there. Um, and ultimately, you want to make sure that all of this is in alignment with your vision and the purpose that you and God, y'all done talked about it. You know, what is your vision? What's that vision that you wrote? What is the purpose that your life carries? And that what is the purpose in how you're operating right now? And I talked about that hamster wheel, and the reason why I talked about that hamster wheel is because, like, y'all, life be life. It really do. Like you everything could be all good. You're doing great. You able to do the hamster wheel. You get off right at 5 p.m. or 5:30, depending on what state you're in. And you get off and you're doing all the things, all the things, all the things. And then something come up, an unexpected bill, a tragedy in the family, a layoff. Y'all know what's going on in the country right now. Y'all know what's going on. Like all of these unexpected things that could pop up, and you start to, okay, let me get in damage control mode. Let me fix this. Well, shoot, I got to get back on the hamster wheel so that I need the extra funds to address that. And like all of these other things that need your attention, your family situations, something's happening with your friend, your relationship is starting to go south. All of these different things, all of the different like little things in life that need your attention over here, over there, over there. Oh shoot, there's a flood, there's a fire, the toilet ran over. Oh, we sprung a leak. All of these things that are pulling you in all of these different directions. Sometimes it's easy to get stuck running in place. And then when you get stuck running in place, you're just like, well, if I'm running in place, why am I running? I'm gonna just chill here for a minute. While rest is needed and required and biblical, when there are a lot of different things happening, when overwhelm starts to set in, it becomes easy to get complacent by mistake or to stop forward movement. And your purpose doesn't become lost during that time, but your purpose can become performative. You can start to lose sight of what your vision is. You can start to lose sight of what your purpose is in life or in this season because there's so many other things going on. And when you start to lose clarity, you start to slowly but surely, you can move out of alignment in your mind and then in life in your actions or your lack of action because you're stressed, you may be burned out, and it's causing you to not continue operating in a way that you are building your vision. And when you start to poorly care for your purpose, you end up being busy with all those things. And sometimes you end up being busy with a bunch of things that they could be good things. They could be positive things. They could be amazing things, great things. But all of those little busy tasks that you're doing, are they in alignment with fulfilling your vision and your purpose? You could be doing something that's great, but it's all the way over there and it ain't got nothing to do with your vision. It's okay to have a one off here, there, but when you start allowing yourself to be pulled in all of these different directions by the external factors that you cannot control, but then you also, in addition to that, get lost in the sauce on a bunch of outside factors that you can control, but you're choosing to do all of these great things that are not in alignment and getting you on or keeping you on that path moving toward your ultimate goal set. That's what I call poor purpose. I told y'all I wasn't gonna do it with the joke, but poor purpose. Oh my God. Bear with me, okay? I need a little sleep. I need a little sleep, y'all. But no, in all seriousness, um, when you become distracted with all of those different things, um, your purpose is poorly affected, is affected poorly. There is a time where once you realize that, you need to reconnect with your purpose and why you started doing all this work and all of these things in the first place. You will have to take inventory of what are you doing and why are you doing it. And some things are gonna have to come off of that plate. No is a complete sentence. Shout out to Mel T. There are some things that you will have to let go of, or you'll need to delegate or reassign, so that so that your life don't end up repurposed in the wrong direction, wrong area, because you are like just running around performing all of these things for all of these other people and doing all this great stuff, but you've forgotten your own purpose and your own vision. And you're getting off track, off task, and are unbalanced because you're just busy, 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 busy. It's one thing to be busy and in alignment with your purpose, but being like super busy just for the sake of performance, that doesn't, I mean, it gets you somewhere, but it doesn't get you to the best end goal, the best end result for you. I mean, it gets a great end result for the people that you're doing all this work for, but you're putting your purpose and your vision on the shelf. So, an enemy of progress is a distorted perception. Um, when you're looking at trauma, comparison, really stressful situations, unhealed wounds, we're looking at all of those external factors and all of those things that come our way that we may not necessarily be able to account for, but we have to address them. Those things, when we are not moving in our purpose or we're allowing those things to knock us a little too far off kilter from our purpose and from our roadmap of our goals and our milestones, this can cause you to start misreading opportunities, losing opportunities, losing relationships or damaging relationships, and sometimes causing damage to yourself. When you let life happen to you and you kind of just you're headed towards burnout, but you're not addressing that. You're not just getting like slowly but surely forgetting your purpose or moving away from further away from that purpose. There are other things that can be damaging in the process when you leave those things unresolved because you don't feel like it, or when you are, or really there's two ways that those things can be damaging. When you continuously take on all of those traumas and you avoid a healing process because you like, I just got to keep going. That itself is damaging. And then it's also damaging to try to deal with those things on your own and not addressing how it can distort your perception and how it affects your mindset. That's where all of that stress starts to come in. You're dealing with all the things, all the things, all the things. And you're just focused on presenting the I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm fine. I'm cool. Everything's good. I'm fine. And this is why I said all of these things are connected to one another because one thing over here affects something else over here, affects something else over here. And now you can't even think straight. And if all of the things with your goal setting, with your vision, your dream, the plan and strategy, and then the execution, if all of those things start with the mindset, but you got landmines going off all over the place in your mind, where do you think that will end you up? Those, though all of those different things causing roadblocks or stumbling blocks or work stoppages, all of those things can, if you don't deal with them correctly, if you don't deal with them in a healthy manner, if you don't pause to deal with all of those things when the pause is required, that causes you to mishandle the emotional experience itself, and that's where you start to misread those opportunities, where it can become damaging to those relationships because you just literally you aren't in the right frame of mind, and also your emotions just sometimes they all over the place, sometimes they're just not there at all because you have too much to deal with. So make sure that healing is on your plate of things to do. Healing is on your docket because there are so many different things that and it doesn't have to be like one big huge traumatic event. Again, it can be just the weight of the stress of all of those little small things that other people are bringing to you, or that you have all of those other responsibilities, and all of that starts to weigh and press on you in a way that can warp your perception, and that does affect your mindset, how you allow yourself to dream and to act on those things. So um, we're about halfway through the year. We know that everybody, or most people, had a New Year's resolution. Started out the year with, there's just that energy of we're coming straight off of Christmas time. We're coming straight off the holiday. We've eaten good. We've gotten all the gifts. Some folks done gone into debt buying stuff, but you had a good time and set all of these goals for what you were going to accomplish during the year, which is the reason why I decided to talk about mindset and all the things and how all of these things are interconnected. Where are you at on those resolutions or on that goals list for this year? What did you do with your quarter one? What did you do with your quarter two? Are you pleased with the results that you got? Are you happy with it? Did you just completely say, you know what, no, bump it. I'll try again next year, or I'll try again next quarter, or I'll try again next month, or you was just like, no, I ain't doing it. I don't want to. No, I don't like it. I give up. I want to make sure that you take some time during this mid-year. The year is not over. We still have plenty of 2025 left. We still got plenty of the year left. So there is still time for you to renew your mind so that you can affect real change. And for those of you who y'all have been crushing your goals so far for the year, congratulations to you. I don't have a hat on, but hats off. And kudos to you for setting your goals at the beginning of the year and staying disciplined, staying on track. And also, that's a blessing. Shout out to you that it's a blessing whether you haven't had any of those like curveballs that life can throw at you, or you were able to stay resilient. And I'm not talking about tired resilient. I mean, you were able to stay like a nice, happy, healthy resilient. And you were able to tackle those challenges and continue on with building towards your goals and doing what you need to do for the year or what you set out to do for the year. Or if you're even like doing things bigger than what you planned on and set out to do by this time in the year, that's truly a blessing, and that's what's up. So I would love to announce to you guys the Rewrite the Vision Journal. So this is an exclusive coming to you like right now. I got to get the thing with the button so that I can have like the alarms and the confetti and the applause in the background. All of that. But click the link below so that you can grab your copy of the Rewrite the Vision Journal. And it talks all about resetting and realigning. Okay. So whether you have stayed on track or whether you need to get back on track so that you don't waste the rest of 2025. Look, we only 6 months in. So that means that you still got 6 months to do whatever you didn't do in the first six. Or, I mean, you may not have even known what you wanted to do with your 2025 at the top of this year or during second quarter. But now is the time. You can take a look at how to shift your mindset and or how you are able to realign your mindset, reset your mindset back to that all of those nice little bells, the confetti falling, the ball dropping, champagne pouring, all of that stuff. Let's go ahead and do a reset. And so that you can get back on track and get back realigned. And again, all of that starts with the mindset. There may be some things that we need to clean up. There may be some cleaning house that we need to do. We may need to declutter our space in our mind. You may need to declutter some space in your heart. You may need to declutter your physical space so that you're able to get your mind right and so that you can get to this Rewrite the Vision journal where we will walk you through resetting your goals, reestablishing those goals, restarting the goals that you already had. We don't need to reinvent the wheel for you. And I'll just also highlight you the importance of like, look, I ain't got to be your coach, but if you need one, get one. Two things that I'm always a huge fan and advocate of are coaching and therapy. Everybody needs both, and they are not interchangeable. And I'm not your therapist. I'll go ahead and put that disclaimer in there. Y'all know who I'm talking to. Inside jokes. But anyhow, make sure that you get involved with the proper coaches, the right community. Go ahead and sign up for seeing your therapist. Or if you have one and you haven't seen them in a while, just go ahead and check in. And now is the time to tap back into your spiritual walk as well. I don't force Jesus or the Bible on anybody, but whatever spiritual or religious sector that you believe in, if you've fallen away from that, now is also a good time to go ahead and get reacclimated with that. And we are at mid-year. You could definitely go ahead and break that cycle of falling off for quarter 3 and quarter 4. We still have so much time left this year for you to still crush your goals, get some of those things done from that list. You still got time to finish it. So make sure you grab your Rewrite the Vision journal where we reset, realign, so that we can get you restarted on those goals. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and drop us a comment below. Let me know what are some of the things that you started out the year doing and you fell off a little bit. And you like, hey, yo, Jess, like, yo, would a journal work for this? Do you have something for this? Let me know down below in the comments. I would love to see what you guys are working on. I would love to see what are some of like where did you fall off? How did you fall off? Have a conversation with me. And if it's something that you don't want God and everybody to see, y'all know how to find the socials. Go ahead and where you click that subscribe button, you can go to the page and you can DM us on social media and we can go ahead and have a conversation there if it's something that you don't want to talk about in the comments where everybody can see. But let's get back to breaking the cycle, renewing our mind for real change for the rest of 2025. We got 2 more quarters to go. And make sure you go ahead and grab your Rewrite the Vision journal so that you can reset, realign, and click the link below so that you can find out a little bit more about the reset program that we have coming to you guys live in quarter 3 so that we can get you reset on those goals and we can make the rest of 2025 the best of your life. And with that, thank you for tuning in for another Everybody Can't Go Convo. We will see you guys next week, next Wednesday. That's it. That's all. 6 o'clock on the wall.